I'm going to bleed the inverter coolant on this 2008 Prius here. I'll give you a quick rundown of the process. It's really quite simple, and then I'll also give you some background as to why I'm actually doing this. Basically what we're looking at is the bleeder screw is right here below the inverter. You might have this rubber cap or you might not. And all you need is a 10mm wrench to be able to open and close that bleeder screw, as well as a tube to direct the coolant back to the reservoir. The type of tube you'll need, it's a vinyl tube with a 1/4 inch inner diameter. And usually you'll want a clear vinyl tube so you can see the coolant flowing through and see any air bubbles. So yeah, let's get started. Here is the vinyl tube. You'll just push that right on there. And then the other end's gonna go into this reservoir right here. So the idea is that any air bubbles that are in the system will be able to rise up and come out of here, and they'll either get trapped in the tube, or when they get to the reservoir they'll be able to bubble up, basically ensuring that the system's free of air bubbles. So what I'm going to do is turn the car on, and that's going to start running the inverter coolant pump that you might have heard of. And you don't actually have to start the car, you only have to turn it in accessory mode. So just press the button twice, the power button twice, without pressing the brake. There's our coolant. Okay, so here's a closer view. I want you to see any air bubbles that come out. I've only partially loosened it, but as we loosen it more, we'll see that flow increase. Okay, I see lots of little air bubbles. Are you seeing these? And you can kind of see them flowing into the reservoir. So they're going to get pushed down into there and bubble up and be out of the system. So why I'm doing this? About a week ago, I replaced my inverter coolant pump. And when I replaced the pump, I used some fluid line clamps on the two hoses to make sure that as few... Here, let's zoom out actually. So I replaced the inverter coolant pump, used fluid line clamps, and then I bled the system after I did that, and there was maybe a few air bubbles, nothing too crazy. So since this past week I've driven about 100 miles, and I figured it would be a good time just to try bleeding it again and see if maybe any other air bubbles were in the system. I haven't seen anything crazy, just those small bubbles, and I'm just gonna let it run. I'm not completely certain, but I think it takes about maybe just a few minutes for the system to fully circulate. So maybe doing this for 10 or 15 minutes could be a safe bet. So I'm gonna close this off. I'm not really seeing any other bubbles. What I'm gonna do is lift this tube really quickly so that I spill the least amount possible. I don't have a funnel, so I'm using this cup to make it easier. So we're just gonna, I gotta show you this. This is such a crazy color. But let's pour this in. We're just trying to get up to this full line on the right. Then we'll put the cap on. So that was the process, really simple. I'm just gonna start the car up, make sure it's working good. I don't know. That's all I got for today. Just wanted to show you that process. If you drive a second gen Prius, that's the years 2004 to 2009, consider checking out some of my other videos or subscribing. I'm trying to make a lot of different videos about just lifestyle with this car and also basic maintenance that you might be able to do yourself. So thanks for watching.